In a small village between tall mountains and a big, quiet forest, there was a place where the trees seemed to talk. The village was called Whispering Pines because of the soft sounds the pine trees made when the wind passed through their branches. It was a peaceful place where everyone knew each other, and the air smelled fresh, like earth and wood. The houses in Whispering Pines were made of warm, golden wood. Each house had a small garden with colorful flowers that bloomed all year. Children played in the streets, laughing loudly in the fresh air. Older women sat in rocking chairs, knitting scarves and telling stories. The men worked in the fields or in the forest, carefully cutting trees to make sure new ones would grow. But there was something strange about the village. The people always spoke in whispers, even when they smiled and talked to each other. It was as if their words were too soft to be heard clearly. The whispers were gentle, like the trees themselves were listening. In the center of the village, there was a very old oak tree. Its branches were wide and strong. The villagers gathered around it for special events or to tell stories. Some said the tree had been alive for hundreds of years and that it kept secrets in its roots deep underground. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with pink and purple, a young girl named Alara sat by the oak tree. Alara was very curious and always asked questions about the village and its strange ways. Tonight, she felt like something was about to happen, something no one had talked about before. She watched the leaves of the oak tree sparkle in the fading light. Suddenly, there was a whisper, louder than the others. It was a deep voice coming from the tree itself. Alara, it said. She froze. How did the tree know her name? The voice continued. The time has come for you to learn the truth of Whispering Pines. Alara stood up slowly, her heart racing. She looked around, but no one else seemed to hear the voice. The village was quiet, and the trees were silent again. But she felt something waiting to be discovered. Alara took a deep breath and stepped closer to the oak tree. The voice was gone, but the air felt different, full of mystery. She gently placed her hand on the rough bark of the tree. To her surprise, it felt warm, as if the tree had been waiting for her touch. As she touched the tree, a soft glow appeared between the cracks in the bark. Alara quickly pulled her hand back. The glow became brighter. Before she could react, the tree's bark split open, showing a narrow glowing path. The light pulsed, as if calling her to follow it. Without thinking, Alara stepped into the tree. As she walked down the glowing path, the ground beneath her feet shifted. The air became cooler, and the sounds of the village disappeared. The path seemed to go on forever, curving like a tunnel deep under the ground. With every step, the glow became brighter, lighting up the walls, which seemed to pulse with energy. After what felt like hours, the path opened into a large, hidden room made of stone. Strange glowing markings covered the walls. In the middle of the room, there was a pedestal with a small stone on top. The stone was smooth, with symbols carved into it, and it hummed with power. Alara approached the pedestal carefully, her heart pounding. She could feel that the stone was important. This was what the voice had wanted her to find. As she reached out to touch it, a shadow moved across the room. Alara froze. The shadow was tall, with glowing eyes like stars. "Who are you, Alara?" it whispered. The figure stepped forward slowly, hiding its face in darkness. But its eyes shined brightly. "I am the guardian of the secrets of Whispering Pines," it said in a deep voice. "You are the chosen one, Alara. The stone holds the key to the village's past. Only you can unlock its power." Alara was confused. What did this mean? Why her? What secrets did Whispering Pines hold? The guardian raised a hand, and the stone on the pedestal began to glow brighter. "The path ahead will not be easy," it warned. "You will face challenges, but the truth is waiting. Are you ready to learn it?" Alara looked at the stone and then back at the guardian. She felt a strange sense of determination. She had always wondered about the village's secrets, and now she had the chance to uncover them. "I'm ready," Alara said, smiling a little. The guardian stepped aside. The stone slowly floated up from the pedestal, glowing brightly. Alara could feel the power of the stone around her. But just as she reached to touch it, the room shook, and a loud rumbling sound filled the space. A familiar, but darker voice echoed through the room. "Do not touch the stone, Alara." Alara's heart skipped a beat. The voice was cold and sharp. She turned quickly and saw another figure in the corner of the room. This figure was different from the guardian. It was tall and surrounded by mist, like it was only partly solid. Its eyes glowed like fire, and it made the room feel cold. "You do not understand," the figure said, its voice harsh. "The stone is not for you. It has the power to destroy, not to heal." Alara's mind raced. Who was this? Why was it trying to stop her? She looked at the glowing stone. It pulsed with a soft light, calling her to make a choice. The guardian spoke again, calm but firm. "The stone is not a weapon. It is the key to the village's survival." The misty figure sneered. "Do you believe the stone is only good? It was created long ago to control the forest and the village. It is cursed. It must not be touched by the unworthy." Alara felt torn. She didn't know who to believe. The room grew colder as the two figures argued, and the weight of the decision felt heavy on her shoulders. The guardian's voice was urgent. "You must trust me, Alara. The stone must be used to protect the village. Its power can stop the darkness around us." The misty figure growled. "Trust a stranger? Someone who knows nothing of the true power of the stone." Alara felt the heat from the stone pull her closer. She took a deep breath and stepped forward, reaching for the stone. The moment she touched it, the room went silent. The stone pulsed brightly, and the shadows seemed to shrink away. Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet gave way, and she fell, the stone still in her hand. Darkness surrounded her, and she felt weightless. The fall seemed to go on forever. Finally, just as panic began to rise, the ground below her feet became solid again. She landed softly in a glowing forest. The trees were tall, with leaves that shimmered like silver. The stone in her hand glowed brightly, lighting up the path ahead. In the distance, a figure stood beneath a glowing tree. It was a woman with long, flowing hair and eyes that gleamed like stars. Alara walked toward the figure, the stone still glowing in her hand. "Who are you?" Alara asked softly. The woman smiled. "I am the keeper of the forest. And you, Alara, are the one who will decide its fate." Alara felt her heart race. The keeper's words were full of meaning. The forest was silent, waiting. The stone pulsed again, and Alara felt the weight of the decision in her hands. "What do you mean?" Alara asked. The keeper's eyes sparkled, but there was sadness in her gaze. Long ago, this forest was a place of balance. The people and the land lived together in harmony. But the stone you carry holds both light and darkness. It was the cause of our downfall. It must be used wisely, or it will destroy everything. Alara swallowed hard, feeling the stone's power and its danger. "How can I use it? What should I do?" The keeper moved closer. "The path is unclear. You must make the choice yourself. The forest will either thrive or wither. It is in your hands." The stone pulsed again, brighter than before. Alara felt the weight of the decision pressing down on her. She held the stone tightly, unsure of what to do next. The fate of the forest and the village was in her hands. As Alara stood at the crossroads of destiny, with the glowing stone in her hands, the weight of the decision became clear. The story of Whispering Pines is not just about magic or the power of a mysterious stone. It's about the choices we make and their far-reaching consequences. Alara's journey teaches us that with great power comes great responsibility. The stone represents the balance between light and darkness, and it is up to the chosen one to decide how it will be used. Will Alara bring harmony back to the village? Or will the darkness consume everything? The story invites us to reflect on the importance of wisdom, trust, and courage when faced with difficult choices. Just like Alara, we too must navigate through the mysteries of life, always searching for truth and the strength to do what is right. The forest, the village, and the secrets beneath the oak tree remind us that the future is shaped by the actions we take today.